Hello friends, hello, and welcome to this pick a card reading for the eclipse season. So you can watch this whenever you want, but its most powerful messages come for this eclipse season that's starting now with this March Pisces new moon on March the 10th, all the way through to the great total solar eclipse of North America in April, on April the 8th and 9th, where these energies will be most potent. Before I go any further, I want to wrap us all in love light and light love, inviting in the guides who overlight TLC for the soul, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, the Pleiadians, and a cast of all sorts of different characters on the board. As I play on the board today, I have Valentino and Roberto. He's renamed himself. So I don't know, last time we wanted to find a name for him because he didn't want to be called whatever he was being called. And so he's named himself. It's Valentino and Roberto. We have some little love trinkets and we have their familiar. Oh, it's her familiar. We have her familiar. This cat needs a name. I found this at a little trinkety thrift place. That's her familiar. Zumba. Okay, wants to be called Zumba. Zumba. All right, we're using our trusty drum beater as our little show and tell wand. And right here is the Missing Shadow books. So if you're playing with us for the month of March, which we have not done the March Energy Hangout yet, but if you want to follow along and play along with us this month, we are going to be using my book, A Kyanite Fairy Wing Adventure, the Missing Shadow books, as our workbook for this month. We're using it on Patreon in all the levels. For a read-along and for some healing, and as a guided experiential for the upcoming next 3 months. We'll be doing a little workshop experiential scavenger hunt in our Inner Sanctum tier. So if any of those call out to you, you can take a look at the links to our Patreon. In our lowest tier, the Love Jar and Tea Room, Tea Bar, there is the March newsletter and Light Blast. It gives you a little bit more information about what we're going to be doing for this month. So I've got 3 decks for us to play with. It seems very spring-like. Obviously, I'm here in the Northern Hemisphere. Today is a very springy day. Finally, I think the weather is going to be warming up a little bit here. It was like 11 degrees this morning, but it's going to be like 40 something today. We'll have like 40s and 50s. So any little patches of snow and ice hopefully will be melting and gone. Although I did read that we are not past the frost warnings until into April. So probably another month of like colder nights, I believe. Maybe this is our March Energy Hangout because I'm sharing all these goodies with you. All right, so let me introduce you to your 3 decks. Yeah, I'm trying to have fun here too, y'all. It's not just a reading for y'all, it's for me to have fun too. All right, we've got 3 decks. I'm not going to put the whole deck because I don't know if it's, never mind. All right, so the 3 decks to choose from, and what's this eclipse season bringing you for this merry month of March and April. So the energies of eclipse season are very potent, very strong. And with this, if you're in North America or anywhere that I think the totality of the eclipse passes through certain parts of North America. It's it's a big deal. It's not the only total solar eclipse happens, happens more than just in North America. But if you're in North America, the effects of this eclipse are going to last longer than the typical 6-month window. So the last time we had an eclipse, this big total eclipse in North America, was in the, I think it was like the summer of 2017. because I remember being outside with I used welding glasses to look at the eclipse. I was in Southern California on the beach. That's where I lived at the time. And the effects of that eclipse have carried all the way through until this eclipse. So it's like we're getting another reset, a whole new reset. And because it's happening in Aries, kind of like the middle degrees of Aries, which is the first house of the first sign of the zodiac, then it's a huge reset for North America as well as the world, right? All of the globe gets these energies. So this could very well be another 7-year window opening up for you of opportunities and growth and new stuff. And I don't know about anybody else, but that last 7-year eclipse for me was a window of like a big like downturn in my life, but it was the biggest 7 years of spiritual growth and lessons. And so for anybody where that was you, where, 2017, after that, things like took a major, like what you felt was a downturn, but was really spirit putting you into some sort of stasis so that you could do a lot of soul work, you're coming out of that now. And you're ramping up for this, like, woo, the top of the Wheel of Fortune, and you're coming out of that spirit-induced, that God-induced cocoon, and you can begin to live your life again. So it's much more pivotal than other eclipse seasons because of that. And the eclipse that happens at the end of March is in Libra at 5 degrees. So it's a huge reset for anybody that's manifesting a partner, a romance, their true love, their twin flame, whoever it is. Rekindling of existing stuff. 5 degrees Libra is right in there, and this is not something new that you've been manifesting, you've been manifesting this for quite some time. And the ball started rolling behind the scenes many years prior to this. So this is like the stepping out there point where the stuff that's going to happen finally starts happening in the 3D, and it's not just some 5D relationship. Okay, so we have the Modern Love Tarot. So if you want to pick pile 1, what's going to happen? What's opportunities? What's opening up for you with this eclipse window? We've got the Modern Love Tarot as pile 1. We've got, I always forget it. Goblins and Gardens Tarot for pile number 2. And the third one that wanted to come in, where the heck did you go? Oh, it's right here. Tarot at the End of the Rainbow. I was trying to pick some springy looking decks, and we may pick up Kyanite Fairy Wing here and do something there. And then let's get a bottle cap. I've been collecting these for this whole 7 years before. Yeah, 7 years. Let's see. We'll add a bottle cap to each one. Oh, the ASMR is over here. Oh, by my mic. By my beautiful wireless mic. Okay, so let's get a bottle cap for if you want to work with if you're choosing pile number 1, you are getting, your bottle cap is Taste Matters. Taste Matters. It does have a number, it's got a number 3 in there. And then if you want to work with Goblins and Gardens for this reading, you file number 2, you got, don't focus on that, focus on my bottle cap. Be the type of person you want to meet. And if you chose pile number 2, oh, you got like a whole big bunch of bottle caps. I'm not the best at showing things on the camera as I'm doing them. You got, for pile number 3, for Tarot at the End of the Rainbow, you got Believe in Miracles. And, oh, you got Aloha. And there's a number there, too. It looks like number 12. So you got Believe in Miracles, which also has a number inside of it. It's the number 1, it looks like. And Believe in Miracles, and then Aloha with the number 12. All right, kiddos, pick, oh, when I say kiddo, my dog thinks I'm talking to her. So let's see. We've got the salmon of knowledge and wisdom. We've got our beautiful plant that has been with me this whole entire journey. Ever since the 7 years, this plant has been with me. When it, someone bought it for me at the depths of my downness and gave it to me as a little tiny plant, and it's grown into this big old plant. So it's been with me this whole 7 years. And we have the dog. Hi, Kiki. Smithy Boogie Boo Boo. It's a pretty ladybug. Okay, we have a dog. All right. Okay, so take a minute. Let's take a deep breath together, kind of like when we do that. And then let's pick your pile. All right. 1, 2, inhale. And exhale. And we will see you in pile number 1. Aloha, pile number 1. All right, you would have chosen the Modern Love Tarot and the little bottle cap Taste Matters with the number 3. Let's get a few little oracle cards first for you. And I do not like to sit down and do readings. Okay. Let's work with the City of Dreams Oracle, all about New York City and the freedom codes of New York City. This is a deck with a pretty little holographic. All right, let's get you a card. What do you need to know about this eclipse season? Oh gosh, you belong here. There's a lot of angel numbers coming up. 212 on the taxi. You belong here. And I guess here could be anywhere, right? Anywhere maybe that you want to go. So I think, you know, what's coming up for you in eclipse season could be somewhere you've been dreaming about traveling to or moving to is calling you. I do like the books for some of these. So you belong here in the city, wherever you feel called, and here on the planet at this precise time. There's something so, yes, magnetic about New York City, the sense of belonging, the anonymity that gives you the opportunity to express yourself freely. It's a feeling of blending in and being witnessed all at once. This is not to say that it's easy or simple, but in its wild complexity, the city welcomes you and you belong here. I don't know, New York City calls out to me quite frequently. It's those freedom codes. If you are involved with any type of soul work that has to do with freedom, if you're a freedom fighter as part of your soul mission and your soul purpose, something about New York City, the energy of the city. I'm not talking about necessarily like the 3D part of it calls to you maybe from a sense, what do I want to say, like a tactile perspective, like want to go eat that bagel, or want to go have that high tea at the tea room, or want to go touch some gemstones at Cartier or whatever. You know, I personally want to go see the all the Ralph Lauren stores. Look so beautiful and down in New York City as it maybe in Manhattan. I've only been there once as a kid, so I've been watching Walking Alice a lot. It's a YouTube channel. She walks New York City and other places quite frequently. And so that's where I get all my what is it? Like bucket list items for New York City is the place that she tends to go to, like the trendy, like high vibe places. So something's calling you, maybe New York City, maybe somewhere else. It feels like then that there could be a move involved. And let's give some parameters around this reading, because when we just said earlier, like 7 years out, it'd be like, oh my God, we waited 7 years to do all these things. Typically what happens with these eclipses is the 6 months following the eclipse are most potent for energies to start popping off and kicking off. Within that time frame. So you've got the eclipse sandwich of the end of March to the April the 8th to the 10th. Somewhere in there, we go into a Mercury retrograde. And then I think from there is where you'll get to like where things are all going to start falling into place. So Spirit's here with us. They've obviously joined us at the beginning as soon as you press play. But if there's anything around timing that you want folks to know, please let me know, because we typically don't do a lot with timing, because the energies become so fluid, especially after these eclipse windows, that timing timing becomes very flowy and very fluid. And if you try to put time frames around things, then in a sense you're limiting Spirit's ability to step in and maybe make things happen sooner or rather than later. So the best thing to do here is just to be open to all possibilities and time frames and timelines, because then Spirit can better work their magic behind the scenes, rather than you getting stuck on the next 7 days or the next 30 days or the next, 3 months or whatever. So just stay open to all possibilities. And from the time you start watching this is the time you should start setting your intentions and your wishes for what you want, because this is being recorded at the day before the Pisces new moon, which is technically, from what I've heard some astrologers say, the opening of eclipse season at this new moon, and then it closes at the next new moon, that big total solar eclipse. All right, so you got You Belong here. Let's get a card from my Loveland Tarot pack. So this is my spring pack and my autumn pack mixed together, because it's autumn somewhere where you might be watching this from, since we reach many places, and we put this up on the podcast as well. And we've got listeners all over the globe. So, and look, see, we got a card from the spring pack and a card from the autumn pack. So the spring pack says, Spirit guides, will you allow us to help? Yeah, I would say just make these wishes, turn them over to your guides, to the universe, to God. And then you got Loveland Bakery. Cindy did everything from her heart. Everyone called her an earth angel. And that's it. It's kind of like set it and forget it. These messages always come through on this channel. Like when you get nervous, focus on service. If you get concerned about timing, or is this going to happen, or how's it going to happen, it's like rather than focus on that and put any sort of doubt or disbelief into your wishes being granted, focus your attention elsewhere. So it's the set it and forget it. Or as Abraham and Esther Hicks like to say, it's if you don't like the thought you're thinking, find a better thinking thought. But redirect yourself to something else as you're waiting for, these wishes to start manifesting. And obviously, like if it's possibly meeting someone, or the person or the new opportunity could come in very quickly, right? Because we already said for you at the start of this pile that these were things that maybe you have been manifesting for quite some time. And so what I think you will find is the quite some time things are going to start popping off very soon following. But you're being guided to build on that now. So you're being guided to act now as if those things you've been wanting for a while have already happened, and start taking your vision boards and your manifestation lists, or however you manifest your cauldron, or whatever you're doing to manifest, your drawings, your artwork, whatever it is that works for you to envision your what you want. Start taking those to the next level. So for example, if it's a person you're manifesting, all right, let's just assume the person is already here, because I feel like if you're manifesting a person, a new job, something very new that you've been working on maybe over the past 7 years, and these things starting to come in now. So now you want to think beyond that, because you've already manifested those things. I mean, they're to the point of just really dropping into your 3D reality. For some of you, if it's a person, the person is around somewhere in your 3D reality. They may not have introduced themselves to you. Maybe they know who you are, they've been following you on social, or, they watch your YouTube channel, or they work where you do, or something in the 3D, I don't know. So those are getting ready to pop off very soon. The invitation, or the, hey, do you want to go out, or the, hi, I've been watching you for a while. Like, all of that is already dropping down. So now it's time to take your vision board out beyond that. Okay, I've already met this person. Obviously, I want a romance. I want, maybe, I'm just giving examples. I want a long-term lasting relationship with my soulmate or my twin flame or my divine counterpart. Before I started the reading, I was intuitively picking intention perfumes to put on, and I got the soulmates one. So everybody probably in any of these 3 piles that we're watching is probably manifesting some sort of soulmate relationship. So let's act as if that's already here, and let's start taking our manifestations to the next level. Meaning, okay, what does that mean now? Well, I might need to move. I might want start dreaming big. I might want to travel with this person. I might want a bigger property. Maybe Spirit is going to, as part of an upgraded soul mission and soul purpose, going to gift us with some parcel of land or something that we get to be the caretakers of. Maybe we get to go out in the world and do soul mission as we travel and do different things. That's what I'm like, hey, I want to go, like, I don't want to just go to like New York just to go to New York. I want to go there and do like grid work and gate work and work with sacred land and work with, I want it to be like that kind of magical adventure. And then if it's your work and your career, okay, now you have a new partner. Maybe it gives you the opportunity to do something you've always wanted to do but hadn't been able to do as a single person. Maybe you didn't have enough resources or enough income by yourself to like go traveling and go do all these things, or work the job of your dreams, be a digital nomad or work from home or whatever, and explore your, I don't know what, tarot practice or your art thing or your writing or, whatever. So now that this person's come in, maybe they have more resources than you, and you're pulling stuff together, right? And maybe they're, maybe who knows who they are, right? Maybe they're a millionaire, and why not, right? Come on, bring it on. And so now you have the resources. This is what you need. You have the resources to travel. Maybe you want to start a healing center. Maybe you want to start a Reiki studio. Maybe you want to start a crystal shop. Maybe you want to start some little shop franchise in like many different cities. Like, oh, I want to start this healing center, and wouldn't it be cool if I had like a satellite? If I had a place in New York City, and I had a place in, this is me, right? I had a place in Hawaii, and I had a place in, I don't know. Or I have a little bookstore somewhere where I sell my wares and I sell my stuff. So what would that look like every day? So start going beyond is the person coming, the person's coming, the person's coming. The person's coming, the person's pretty much almost here. They're going to drop right in, like, Spirit's not giving me a timeline, but they're just going to drop right in. So now think beyond that. Think beyond that. If you already had your next level dream job, your next level life, what is that going to look like? So that's what you're being guided to do there. All right, you chose, I already forgot the text. Okay, you chose the modern love romance. Let's see if I can get up and shuffle. We're on the floor here, so let's see what we got. I'm sitting on the floor. All right, you got 2 cards. Oh, yeah, I did pretty good there. All right, you got the 3 of Swords. All right, let me see if I can get in a little bit more on the cards. And you got the Page of Pentacles. I mean, if that's not stuff coming down in the 3D. Okay, what's up with this 3 of Swords? Yeah, I think, and this has been a trend in readings I've been watching lately. So it's no surprise to me as these cycles close out, these newer eclipse windows come into play, higher energies on the planet based on where we're at now. It's no surprise in every reading I've been watching, no matter who the reader is, it's kind of like, on this side of the board, we've got the, this is what's been happening in the past, showing us that, maybe your heart was hurt before. You've done all this healing around, whatever didn't work out in the past. So just like the example I gave with the past 7 years could have been the big major downturn. But in reality, was it a downturn? It was a time when you went into like this spiritually induced, I like that, spiritually induced cocoon where you had to do all this soul work. So don't feel bad about the past. If it didn't work out the way you wanted, it didn't work out the way you wanted because your soul had a different mission during this past time to get these things accomplished. So that's how I'm looking at this last 7 years for me. A lot of things happened that I'm not, not very proud of. I'm not very proud of some of the things, some of the events that kicked off and what happened, but I'm really, really proud of all the soul work I did to fix negative karma that I had created earlier in this lifetime when I didn't know any better, as well as past lifetimes. I remember at one point when I was like 2018 was like the year that was like really, really like bad, like one of the worst years for me in terms of like starting over. But I remember Cryon came in. I didn't know anything about Cryon, and Cryon popped up in my YouTube feed, and Chiron too, right? Chiron I was working with a wounded healer. Chiron and Cryon came in, and Cryon was like my best friend. Like every morning I would listen to Cryon as I walked my dogs in this what I thought was like the most humiliating situation I was ever in. And Cryon really helped me build myself back up again to a level where I felt like I could start trusting my guides again and start trusting myself. And so be proud of how far you've come. Sometimes, think of maybe things that you're doing now. So the story I'm doing, to go on, my guides are helping me stay on track. Cryon came in at one point. It was like, oh, you can release all your negative karma in this lifetime right now. You just have to say that. And I was like, well, I sometimes like, be careful what you wish for. Or sometimes I think your guides nudge you through these messengers, these soul messengers, to do things that you technically would not do on your own or with your own mental thoughts. You would not think to do this. But I remember Cryon saying, yeah, I'm getting big chills there. I remember Cryon saying like, you can release all your negative karma in this lifetime and get rid of it. And I was like, I want to do that. I didn't know why I wanted to do it, but it sounded really good. And I was like, I want to do that. Okay, well, be careful what you say, right? Because that led me on this 7-year journey of like all these things come. I mean, when you say I want to release all my negative karma in this lifetime and all other, then you've got to realize that you're going to spend some time doing stuff to release this negative karma. You may have to be doing some good deeds. You may have to be doing a lot of service work. You may have to be doing some basically quote literal and figurative like shitty tasks that you don't want to do to make up for things that you might have done to others in the past. So I think that's all the energy that you've been doing over this past, we just keep talking about this past 7 years, over this past 7-year cycle, all this stuff. And now they're saying you're done and you're ready to move forward. And it's like, and isn't it interesting when we think about Taoism and going with the flow and, in reality, you're really not in control of your life. You kind of think you are, but you're not. And isn't it interesting that dun, 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 just as you got to the next 7-year reset with these eclipses, oh, magically you're done, right? It's like Spirit prodded you and moved you along this whole time, getting you to do this soul work so that you could complete it in time for this next big reset. So thank you, God, right? Thank you, universe, thank you, great mystery, whatever words you want to use. Thank you, guides and angels. Thank you, spirit guides. Where's my little thing? Thank you, spirit guides, because now I'm ready to reap the rewards of all that work. So now the wheel turns, you're on the upswing, and I think you've been on the upswing for quite some time now. So that's the other thing too with this Page of Pentacles, is to realize that slowly, I would say over the last couple of years, you've been noticing the slight tick-tock movement of the Wheel of Fortune turning more and more in your favor. You may have, I remember I'll just go back to myself, at the 2018 timeframe, I pretty much gave away, I had to move from where I was living on the California coast, and I didn't have Spirit made it so that I had no other choices but to move in with relatives back in South Texas. That was the only choice that I was given. I wasn't given any other options. That was where I had to go because that's where the soul work started, with the relationships with these people that I was moving in with. But to me, that was like the most devastating, most horrific thing that could ever happen to me. Like, how humiliating, right? I'm going from living on the California coast, and like to me, it was like the zenith of everything I could have wanted, like living on the coast, living my dream, to then I putting all my stuff in storage, and I felt like this shaman's death. Like, I kind of was like, this sucks. And I gave away I gave away everything, like all of my tarot cards I threw away. I gave away all of my belongings. I gave away like 90% of my stuff. So now over the past couple of years, I was able to get all of my like California stuff out of storage. Now I have a home now. I'm not living with relatives. I'm living in a beautiful home on sacred lands, right outside Native American burial grounds and a medicine wheel. So be thankful. And most of all the tarot cards are back in a different form. You know, what was once lost has now been replaced in a different form. Animals that passed away during that time, a very tragic loss of both my pets during that same time frame. Within 2 weeks of each other, I lost both my dogs. One quite young, it was only 2 years old, and had, of all things, lymphoma, and died. And then my 12-year-old, he had been with me for such a long time. He just, within 2 weeks of that, he just died of like malignant lung cancer. So now I have a new dog. She's quite a handful, but all these things are being replaced. So it just keeps getting better and better and better. And if it's really good now to where I feel like, this is pretty good. I mean, I don't have everything I could want. I have a whole list of things I've already been spewing off during this pile number 1. Then things are only going to get better and better and better from here, as long as you're allowing yourself that, right? As long as you've cleared all the stuff around, like, I don't want to be wealthy, or, all of the past life, dredging up the stuff from the past that's keeping you from living your best life, having the resources you need. So like when I said, why wouldn't I want a wealthy partner? Why not? I mean, because we're going to build together, right? We're going to build together. We're going to, I'm just giving these examples. We're going to build together, and we're going to build our own empire together, right? And we're going to be able to then, like the visualization that Master Code, I work with Master Code, one of my the biggest blessing that came back into my lifetime from a teacher that I had in a past life of Master Code. But he would say, like, there's this visualization where you're like walking along, and you find like a couple of gold coins on the ground or something, and you turn around and you take some of them and you give them to somebody else or something. And then, okay, so you created good karma by paying it forward and giving some of that away. We talked about tithing in my last show. So then you keep walking along, you find even bigger pile of gold coins and money, and you're like, wow, this is great, even more. And you give some of that away, and you just keep walking and walking until the more you do that, the more you find some gold. I'm using gold as an example, like gold coins, and you give some away. And we're talking about reciprocity and paying it forward. The more you walk, the bigger the pile of gold coins is that you keep finding, and you keep like giving some away to help other people. This Earth Angel card. The bigger pile you get. So if I manifest and bring in somebody who's got a lot of resources, and then I'm manifesting having a lot of resources, then we're going to have huge piles of gold, right? And we can start those healing centers, and we can start those, we can purchase those sacred lands and be guardians of sacred land. The more high vibe, high frequency souls that are able to become guardians of sacred lands, and help other people, right, further raises the vibration of the planet. So this is where you can put your little dream cap on after you watch this, and really think about what is the future holding for me. And if when I say stuff like, I want to manifest like a wealthy partner, and you're like, why would I want that? You've got more soul clearing, you've got more purging and purification and soul work to do around being worthy to attract those things into your life. But I think for most people in this pile, you've done all that, you're ready, and now you can reap the rewards. So the last thing we're going to do is, we got 2 more things. We're going to bring in the Final Rose Tarot to give you any other messages. This has got a really great book as well, and of course has roses on it. So anything with roses. Let's see what your message is. This is the most awkward shuffling position. Okay, hold on. I have to like kneel. What do we got? Okay, so we have this card for pile number 1. It is, oh, look. See? Oh, this is so good. Now, I've never seen this show. What is this, The Bachelor or whatever? But this book is really good for this deck. So you got the 9 of Roses, which is influencer. I swear that's what, woo, Spirit is so good. That's what we were just talking about. Having enough resources to be what's called an influencer, but not an influencer in the thing of like, oh, I want 24 million, TikTok followers or whatever. It's an influencer on the planet. Your energy and your resources can help influence more to pay it forward. You have enough to do the things you need to do to work the soul mission that you came here to work. That's what you're doing. Okay, so in the book, the 9, I do like to read from this book. The 9 of Rings says, the keywords are luxury, visibility, shamelessness. I just told you, if you have any sort of shame around, like, oh, that's not going to work. That feels weird. Fame. So I did have this morning, I was kind of like, I want to be famous, but I want to be famous for other reasons other than just I want to be famous. I want to have the resources I need to do the soul work that I need to do in this lifetime. And so in order to do that, I have to, at some point then, achieve a level of visibility that then would be considered, I guess, fame with a 3D word around it. So dressed in the finest threads from the most desired up-and-coming clothing brand, you're the representation of all your success and accomplishments. I told you I want to go to the Ralph Lauren store. Through your experiences, you've achieved a level of refinement and polish, making you the most influential it girl. You inspire others with your visibility and what you share on your highly acclaimed platforms, influencing your followers as they strive to walk in your shoes. But we want them to walk in our shoes. We want to be like a high vibe influencer, right? To kind of balance out maybe some of the other things that are going on out there in the world. And that's why we've chosen this book too for the month of March. Kyanite Fairy Wing is an influencer in her own right. She has a lot of self-confidence. She's very trendy. She is an it girl in her fairylands of Chumasha. And so that's, you can, if you're interested in reading along with us, all my ebooks are free to read. This is not even the current cover of this book. It has a new cover that I redesigned myself a while back. So it looks a little different, but you can go download this ebook for free and follow along with us this month. Apple Books, Google Books, Barnes & Nobles, Kobo, and my publisher, Smashwords. You can get this book and read along with us. So we're going to get one more because it's not a reading if we don't have the fairies along. And let's get you one last card from Brian Froud's deck. It's this one. Oh, okay. Is there anything I have to censor for YouTube? Oh, no, it's perfectly censored by that other fairy. All right, you got the Lady of the Harvest. So this is pretty much everything, just summing up what we've just said. The harvest is coming in for you. That's what you're manifesting with this eclipse season. So the things that are coming in for you should be of no surprise to you. The timing, just let it be fluid. Let it come in when it's meant to come in. It is coming in though, and your job now is to just enjoy this journey. Enjoy the fruits of your labors as they start to come in. Be excited. And now you should start really setting your vision boards for your next level up. Yes, big chills there. All right, so that is all we have to share for you, my friends. I want to thank you so much for joining me here, and we will see you all again soon. Take care. Hello, pile number 2. You chose the Goblins and Gardens Tarot deck, along with Be the Type of Person You Want to Meet. That does have a number too. We didn't say it earlier because I didn't see it, but it is, oh, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. I can't really see it very well. Be the type of person you want to meet. So before we start with your tarot deck, I want to get some oracles for you. So we're going to start with the City of Dreams. This deck is set in New York City. It's one of my favorite decks. All my decks are my favorites. Oh, it's this one. Okay. Oh, and this one. All right. What do you need to know right now? What's happening for you in this eclipse season? We got projections and beach day getaway. And you got be the type of person you want to meet. Let's read the projections. I like to read from some of these. A lot of these decks I get have really good guidebooks. Projections. So we're talking about the eclipses, okay? And this is a very big moon in this card. The massive moon glows as it rises above the city. All over the world, the moon can be seen by people from the past, present, and future. What does the moon mean to you now? What did it mean to you when you looked up at it in a past life? How many stories do we weave and place on this celestial symbol? We apply our stories, our legends, our myths onto the moon, and it just exists, visible for the world to see and full of endless stories about it. Let other people's projections of you move past you like the misty clouds floating by the moon. Relates to the moon and lunar energy. And it came out with Beach Day Getaway. A Sunday trip with friends. The scenes from the train window morph from skyscrapers to brownstones and finally to beach cottages as you journey to the last stop. At the beach, you spend time on the sand and in the sun. Rejuvenation, joy, friendship, and relaxation at the Rockaways. The meditation of looking for seashells at the beach and walking on the earth. Ask the beach if it's okay to take a seashell home as a reminder. Pick up litter as an exchange. On Monday morning, when you're back in your day-to-day routine, this shell will serve as a memento from your gorgeous weekend voyage. Let it remind you of this summer day. Rest your mind, take a break, and go on a day trip to the ocean or a body of water if you can. Ground and walk on the earth. A necessary pause from your hard work, summertime, recharging by the water, and time in the sun. Those are all keywords of this. And again, we're talking about what is this eclipse window bringing you, which I don't remember where we said it now, but we said that this is really a new 7-year cycle. So the energies that you've been working with in this past cycle went all the way back to the total solar eclipse in 2017. I believe it was in the summertime. And now we've got a new 7-year cycle beginning with these eclipses here in Libra later this month in March, and in Aries on the April 8th and 9th, I believe, 8th, 9th-ish. Let's get some love land. I'm not gonna go into my spiel yet of what's going on for you. Hold on, get a few more cards. What else does our pile number 2 friends need to know? Heart. The angel of the heart is asking you to release the bindings you have placed around yourself. Your heart wants to play and make love light. All right, maybe this came out for a reason. YouTube has this thing about things that aren't supposed to be showing. All right. And let's get your tarot out. So what I think you're manifesting is a whole lot. Everything in that beach day getaway seems like the things that you've been doing over this past 7-year time frame. You've been maybe wanting to meet somebody, so you've been trying to clear your energy and be that person that you want to meet that came out in your bottle cap. Every new moon and full moon and every, Lion's Gate or whatever, you were like resetting your intentions and dreaming your dreams into being with this beach day card. You would have gone maybe like, oh, what would it be like to walk on the beach with my person or my friends? It may not be a necessarily romantic partner, but like, what would it be to walk on the beach with this person or my friends or my new soul family, or, new family members, or, reconnecting friendships. You've been dreaming these things into reality for quite some time now. And now is the time when all of that vision boarding and dreaming and writing down wish lists and doing all your soul work is manifesting for you. So let's get some. So you chose the Goblins and Gardens Tarot deck, another deck with a great guidebook. Oh, that's the guidebook's right there. Let's see what card you got. You got the Seven of Cups. So this deck is a compilation. Someone did like a collage of Dungeons and Dragons, from Dungeons and Dragons, like cutouts from like magazines or books, along with cutouts from books, gardening books and magazines. I love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Seven of Cups. Oh, what is he holding? He's holding like a little, it looks like a popsicle. It's like a little spade, but it's, okay, hold on. Let me find the Seven of Cups. This book has really teeny tiny writing. This book has the teeniest, tiniest little guidebook with like little teeny tiny writing. I don't know how they all put it all on here. Okay, Seven of Cups. I love it. Wool gatherer. Decisions distract and peer, as in P-E-E-R, like friend. The lizard man must make decisions. For his garden in the high hills, all the cobweb house leeks dazzle, but which one to plant? At least the options have distracted him from his horrible memories of feasting on humans. What was that all about? A terrible daydream, no doubt. You find yourself in a fool's paradise with life presenting several options to you. Do you fancy one or a few? Avoid muddling illusion with imagination. So I think this moon is going to be bringing up a lot of new options for you, a lot of things you have been wanting and wishing, but maybe even more than you were expecting, right? Because we get into these daydreams. I was thinking about this morning. We get into these daydreams and these wish lists and these, manifestation lists or whatever, vision boards. But we can only kind of go so far as we're able to, especially if other people are involved, right? So if it's just us, we can be like, oh, I want to manifest this, 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 and this. That sounds great. But if another person is involved in that, so if there's any type of romantic partnership or soul family members or new working partners or new partnerships coming in, well, those people also have like wishes and dreams and things they want to manifest. And you're coming together for a purpose to work together, right? Maybe on a dual soul mission. And so your wishes then kind of become their wishes become your wishes, and even more options and opportunities open up. Things you hadn't thought of before. So you're being asked to keep doing what you're doing, like keep envisioning the things you want to bring in, but be very fluid. This feels very much like pile number one with different cards. Be very fluid and open to the wishes and dreams of any new people showing up in your space, to where, it could be like, wow, I didn't think of that before. That would be even better than what I was thinking. Yeah, let's combine our efforts. All right, so as I've been just kind of playing with the deck as I'm talking, and another card wanted to come out. So let's see what this is. Oh, the Sun card. Number 19. All right, let's look at the Sun card. And it's going on Beach Day Getaway. The Sun card is, let me hold it up. Burn anew, venerate and power. A radiant dawn ignites kinship with the land. What's this? A new friend, here we go, chooses to join you for this blessed solar event. Oh, Maybe someone's coming in before the total solar eclipse. So this one might be a time frame. This one seems like you and whoever this is are going to be watching. Of course, they did say like, well, they told us to be careful about timings, but they did say like, before I keep reading any further, one of those where it's like, I like that show Never Have I Ever on Netflix. And there's a part where two of the characters go into separation. And at one point he's talking to his friend and he's like, I wonder sometimes as I'm looking at the moon, if Eleanor's looking at the moon the same time as me, or looking at the moon as I'm looking at the moon. And then there's a point where Eleanor, the girl, is like talking to her friend and she's like, sometimes I wonder if he's looking at the moon the same time I'm looking at the moon, if we're looking at the moon together, we're looking at the same moon at the same time. So it could be that too. So be very fluid with the time frames, but it does say a new friend chooses to join you for this blessed solar event. She is ripe, round, and beautiful. She leans ripe, round, and beautiful. She leans in to share some wisdom. Oh, it's this little creature. Oh, it's the watermelon joining this little creature. She's ripe, round, and beautiful. She leans in to share some wisdom. Do not take for granted one single sunrise. I'm telling you, don't waste your time on time frames. See the way the sun takes care at a perfect distance. Some wanderers would choose greed when facing east, but it looks like the sun reflects off you in a different way. Do you have it in you to walk a planet's path? Oh, this is so interesting. Okay, so this morning, I was talking about, I go on my walks with the dog and these things start coming up, but I was listening to Master Coase, my spiritual teacher. I've been working with, I've worked with him in other lifetimes, but I do his meditations every single day. That's how I've been able to kind of grow into where I'm finally aligning to these things that I want. You can find whatever spiritual teacher resonates with you. But one of the things he was talking about was the some of the ascended masters or the bodhisattvas, like the Buddha, and some of the other spiritual teachers, like some of the ascended masters that are up in Shambhala, like some of them, their chakras are, their default size of their chakras, when we measure chakras, is the size of a of a, did he say planet? No, I can't remember what he said. I don't know if it was the size of a planet or the size of a whole continent. It was very, very big, huge chakras, right? And if you've done any work with me in any of my healing sessions, and we just did this, did we do it in the Inner Sanctum? I can't remember which Patreon group we did it in, but we were measuring the size of our chakras. And, as the more you meditate and the more you connect with Source in stillness and awareness, which is typically done through meditation, then your chakras start expanding. For a reason, because you're taking on more spiritual energy, your spiritual connection is stronger, and as you get bigger chakras, then you're supposed to then have a bigger purpose. You're supposed to reach more people, because bigger chakras means more energy, means more power, more connection. There's no sense in having huge chakras if you're not here to do some really big divine soul work, right? Because we just talked about bodhisattvas, ascended masters. We're talking about people who are here to help the planet through divine service. We're not talking about Joe Schmo who's unawakened and, that has a very small spiritual connection. So as your chakras grow bigger, you're here to do more soul work. And I feel like that's what this is talking about. Like this sun card, like your chakras are expanding. So I was walking this morning and I was like, yeah, I don't want to stop. Just because you've reached this pinnacle of what you feel is the pinnacle of your spiritual growth. Like, oh, my manifestations are starting to come in. Spirit says I'm aligned to my person or this new place or this new career or whatever. I guess I can just coast now because everything's fine. The message for you is, no, you're supposed to keep growing and keep growing. And so if you measure your chakras and you're like, wow, my crown's really big now, it's the size of a watermelon, where before it used to be the size of a straw or whatever when we measure the chakras. oh, I guess I can just stop my spiritual practice. Everything's great. The message for you is no, you don't. You keep doing your spiritual practice. You want to, and I remember I always say, and my son was saying the same thing, and it really kind of made me interested because he's going to be 17 this year. And he said, no, I want to keep growing. He's a very old soul. I want to keep growing. I want to keep learning. I want to keep expanding. And that's what I always say. I'm like, no, a watermelon-sized crown chakra is not big enough. I want to keep going, keep ascending, keep going higher. If there's another relational reality that's more, that I want to get aligned to whatever is the highest frequencies of the planet. And as the planet grows in consciousness, then I want to keep aligning to the highest levels of consciousness that I can. I'm not going to stop because I've got my person now, or I've got the resources I need, or I've live in my dream house or whatever. Like, keep going with your inner work. Even if there's distractions, even if there's all these new choices and new options coming in, and you're like, oh my God, I've got so much to choose from now. This is great. Keep doing the work. Keep growing. Keep wanting bigger and better for yourself, which is one of the things we're going to be doing. I don't remember. I think it is in the Bringers of the Light tier on Patreon. We're going to be doing some healing work around keep wanting more for yourself. There's nothing wrong with wanting riches, with wanting money, because like Master Co, one of the quotes he did, and I don't know who, I think he said his teacher, so his grandmaster said it, is money in the hands of good people can help change the world. And so with bigger chakras comes more opportunities to do things, comes the opportunity to have more resources, more money, more recognition, so that you can do more to help the planet. And if you don't want to do more to help other people, maybe you're one of those people that's like, well, humanity can help itself. Then you're one of those that's here to help the planet through land guardianship. Oh, yes. Just like I saved this Instagram reel and I sent it to a couple of my younger folks that I'm mentoring, because I'm like, come on, guys, don't give up on your dreams. It was Cesar Milan, and he was talking about, oh my God, he's become so spiritually awakened. I don't know how much time maybe it's been in this past 7 years, but when I listen to him talk now, I'm like, oh my God, he's so like up there. His chakras are so big. But he was talking about, he was born, his parents were very poor. They didn't go to school because they had to work. He crossed the border, I'm sure, illegally when he was very young, like a teenager. He didn't have, he was saying in this reel, I didn't have papers. I didn't have education. I had no money at all, but I knew I wanted to come to America, and I wanted to, so he was called here. Oh, I'm getting so many chills. And he worked his way up as the dog whisperer. We know he's been around for quite some time, a long time as the dog whisperer. But his thing was, I'm in California. He crossed the border in California, and he's like, I wanted a place where people could take their dogs, because in California everybody has to be on a leash, and all the things in California about your pets have to be very contained. He's like, I wanted a mountain. This was his dream. It was so good. He's like, I wanted a mountain where people could come and walk their dogs and let them off leash and let them run through the ranch, and have my dog training academy or school, or I forget what it's called. And so he's like, here I am. I bought my mountain. I own a mountain now. And he does. It's like 100 and some odd acres. It's a mountain. And, well, it's not like Kilimanjaro, but it's like a mountain as it relates to, being in California in the mountains. And he's got this amazing, beautiful dog training place there. And he's like, that was my dream, to help people it's to, his thing is help people so that they can help their animals. Not really necessarily just train the animal itself. But he's like, now I have a mountain. And then I found out he's expanded. He has a place in Florida now too. So don't, like, he could have stopped at the dog whisperer. He could have stopped at like, I've got a great, famous TV show on whatever it was, cable at the time, was it TLC or something? And he just kept going and going and going and dreaming bigger. And then it wasn't just, I have a mountain, because he was talking about, I'm here to be the best Cesar Milan that I can be, through self-love, self-respect, caring for others, working with the divine. I was like, oh my God, it's like my dream. My dream partner would be saying those things. So don't give up. Don't settle. Don't settle. for less. Keep going, keep expanding, keep dreaming big, even if you feel like you've reached some sort of pinnacle, you haven't. The options will just continue to come to you. It's an abundant planet. The universe is abundant in many, many ways, right? So keep letting yourself have more. And I always think to whenever, I don't have it with me, my little jack-o'-lantern candle holder, but whenever I see it, it reminds me of Halloween Town. And when, is it Marnie or the little sister is like, you know, Grandma always said the way to work our magic, the way to have what we want is to dream about it and then just let ourselves have it. And I was like, yes. So good. So that is your message. And you may have been somebody who bopped over from pile number 1 and just keeps on listening. So this is the thing is, as these dreams start popping off, you know, don't settle. Don't keep going. Keep letting yourself have what you want. Okay, we're going to get a card from the Final Rose Tarot for you. Any other messages? This has an amazing guidebook. This is from, I've never watched the show that's come from this deck, Bachelor or Bachelorette or whatever, but this deck is a really great, it has a really beautiful cards, and you got 3 cards. Oh, look at all these roses. Oh my gosh. So the first card you got is the Rose Ceremony. That is equivalent to the World card, I believe. Is it the World? I don't remember it. The Queen of Roses, that's the Queen of Wands, the Beauty Queen. Look, Miss USA second place. Right, don't settle. You got Miss USA second place. Maybe you want to try next time for Miss USA first place. And then you got Keep It Chill. This is all about going with the flow. So let me just pop out the book and see if I want to read from any of these, because this book is really good. 20 is, the Judgment card. Judgment hangs in the air as roses are offered and accepted. This is things coming back into balance for you. Decisions, inner knowing, outcome. As clarity comes with this life-changing call, trust that this outcome serves the right reasons. Here we go. In the highest good of all involved. Move forward on your path by accepting your fate with class and elegance. This is happening for you now. This eclipse season is the one that's happening for you. If it was the last 7 years since that last total solar eclipse, the big one in 2017, was some sort of weird downturn for you, then this is your confirmation that this is the big upturn. All right, let me just look at the Queen of Roses and see if there's anything I want to say about that. That's the Beauty Queen. Yes, self-confidence, self-motivation, extrovert, and independent. You have become self-actualized through your defeats and challenges, and you know how to play the game. Your intentions are set on the prize, and as highly motivated and driven force, you're sure to get what you want. And then card number 14 is the equivalent of the... I think this is Temperance. Keep it chill. Remaining grounded while being able to go with the flow is key to breezing through the process of your journey. Remember that you're here for the right reasons. Let the drama roll off your back and choose your battles wisely by listening to your heart and keeping it as chill as the cucumber that garnishes your refreshing ice-cold cocktail. Okay, so go with the flow, keep it chill, allow these things to come to you. If they're meant for you, they're going to come to you and you're not going to miss out on them. And then do we want to do, okay, what fairy guide is working with you through this transformative time? He of the Fiery Sword. This is a divine masculine energy. This is a card of power, force, divine willpower. Driven through your will, being very decisive on what you want. It's not a time now to be, so your advice is like, it's not a time now to be wishy-washy with your energy. It's a time to be very decisive on what you want. This could also be, this is kind of my Bringers of the Light card, because this, when I see here the Fiery Sword, reminds me of Archangel Michael, which is all about spiritual soul mission and soul purpose, being part of the 144,000, which is not 144,000 people or souls. To me, it's an activation code that is within you, and when the 144 starts to activate, that's like a clarion clarion call to get that it's time for you to start doing more of your soul mission and your soul purpose. It's going to start to pop off and kick off. So you've got a lot happening in this next 7-year cycle. Take advantage of the fact that it's an upswing for you, because the wheel is always going to turn again. And if you're prepared, if you're prepared for that next 7-year cycle when maybe the wheel starts going down again, and maybe it's not such a fruitful time, then let's start preparing for that now by increasing our resources, getting ourselves out there, manifesting the things that we want, so that the next time the wheel does turn, as Master Co says, it's not such a huge roller coaster ride. If the wheel is doing a downturn again, it's just a tiny little speed bump in the road. So that is what we have for you, friends. I want to thank you so much for joining me here, and I hope you have a beautiful eclipse season. We will see you again soon. Take care. Hello, pile number 3. Hello. You chose tarot at the end of the rainbow, along with believe in miracles. Excuse me. Throat chakra stuff. This is starting with your reading, so hold on. We might have to bring in some light language to do some clearing. We got Aloha. Could have to do with Aloha Reiki. We've been doing Aloha Reiki over on Patreon in our Bringers of the Light tier. Let's see. So we're not going to start with the tarot deck yet. We're going to start with an oracle card from the City of Dreams Oracle. Let's see here. It's a nice little spring day. Well, as much spring as it can be up here in North Dakota right now. I think it's 30-something degrees, but it's sunny and pretty. Let's see what your oracle card is. So you may be coming from another pile. There's another pile that got this as their oracle card, the You Belong Here. So I'm not going to tell you which one it is. This is all about, could be about belonging in New York City. This whole entire deck, Jackie Franco's work takes place in New York City. She has a tarot deck as well that I have, the Midnight City Tarot. Beautiful decks if New York City is calling to you, but I feel like you may be a little of a crossover. Okay. So it could be somewhere new calling to you. You've got Believe in Miracles and Aloha, which is, it's like, it's calling to me. Like the Hawaiian Islands, the Aloha Spirit. Aloha and the Hawaiian Islands to me is also significant with New Lemurian Light Codes and the Lost Lands of Lemuria, which are not just the Hawaiian Islands, but I feel that Lemurian ley line goes all the way up the west coast, all the way up to the islands up past Seattle, kind of on the coast of Canada, all the way up there, and maybe a little bit further down into the Polynesian areas of the planet as well. So there may be, let's just see, I don't want to say exactly yet what you're being called to. So I'm going to pull out my deck, Loveland Tarot. This is not a tarot deck, this is an oracle deck. One day there will be a tarot deck, but this is the spring pack and the autumn pack that I've combined together. So these packs are sold independently, spring, autumn, fall, winter. Did I get the right one? Spring, autumn, no. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. Anyway, too many crickets. What am I doing there? Okay, what's your card, pile number 3? And your deck is old. Okay, you got an autumn card. You got, yes. See, I'm talking about the seasons. Loveland, do everything you love this season and always. And for me, it's all about like being outdoors, doing outdoorsy things, enjoying the seasons, enjoying the changing of the seasons, working with the land, doing grid work, doing gate work, what I call grid work and gate work, working with sacred lands and sacred spaces, sacred springs and sacred wells. Okay, let's keep going though. I don't want to get too much into it. Okay, let's get your deck out. You got tarot at the end of the rainbow. So let's see what little messages we have for you. For my pile 3 people. And you got 3 cards. 3, 3. Oh, and a 3. Like 3, 3. Oh, this card came. Okay, 3 of Swords. Did this card come out in that other? Yes. Okay, you've got to be coming from the other pile too, because this card came out in the other pile as well. And if you haven't, if you're starting on this pile, then there are messages for you in another pile. Let yourself be intuitive. Play the intuitive game and let yourself be intuitively guided to that pile. You'll know which one it is. You also got the Hierophant. Yeah, this is, and you got the 4 of Swords. This is, okay, so the topic of this reading is what's happening for you, what's popping off for you, what's happening, what are you manifesting during this eclipse season, which maybe you haven't chosen any other pile yet, and if you haven't, then what's happening here is this total solar eclipse. So we've got the door to the eclipse season opens tomorrow. I'm recording this on Saturday the 9th. It opens the 10th with this new moon in Pisces. Okay. And then we have an eclipse towards the end of March. And then we have the big total. So we have, that one's a 5 degrees Libra, which is all about manifesting relationships and soul partners and divine partnerships and new soul contracts. And then we have the huge total solar eclipse, which is going to encompass all of North America on April the 8th, 9th time frame. But the effects of this eclipse window, the guides have said, are going to start a whole new 7-year cycle for you. As of the last eclipse, big total solar eclipse, especially if you're in North America. In the North Americas, the really big one was in 2017. I think it was in Leo. So, all right, we got the 3 of Swords, the Hierophant. Yeah, you are being called out of your stasis. You've been in this past 7 years, this kind of stasis. We already talked about that, where you've been doing a lot of soul work, a lot of higher learning coming through, a lot of things opening up to you in terms of your gifts and your spiritual powers. You've done a lot of clearing work on yourself. You've cleared maybe a lot of, past lives or past karma or past hurts, things from this lifetime and previous lifetimes. And now you're leveling up. So leveling up comes with more responsibility. And when I say leveling up, it's in the spiritual world as well as the physical world. So in the spiritual world, you may have been started working with Archangel Raziel, because this is a rainbow inspired deck. Yeah. Master Hilarion. Archangel Raziel, I work with him in terms of we call it rainbow conscience, the energies of the ancestral mage, the energies of sacred learning sites and centers such as, Avalon, Glastonbury Abbey. These are just mine personally. I'm giving us examples of the Essenes. Hogwarts is a school of great learning. It's on the etheric. It exists. If it's definitely the energy of great spiritual teachers like, all the bodhisattvas and that work with all the ascended masters from Shambhala. Oh my goodness. All the learning you did in Lemuria or they're saying Antares. I was going to say somewhere else, but they said Antares. So off planet as a star seed, you're leveling up now and you're getting more responsibility. When Archangel Raziel comes in, He is in charge of what's called integrity upgrades. So if you've done a lot of soul work and you've proven yourself to have a certain integrity level in terms of your heart space and your spiritual connection, then you are allowed to go deeper into the inner mystery school teachings, which is something that he's in charge of as well as an archangel. But you may also be working with Merlin. Again, we said Dumbledore keeps coming up. So the teachers from Hogwarts, any spiritual teachers you might have worked with in Avalon, Atlantis, Lemuria, Egypt. And when you get integrity upgrades, that means you are able to do, you are gifted with, you're basically your guides and higher level guides, higher hierarchical guides from the angelic kingdoms and even above. Your consciousness opens up to higher levels of understanding, which thus makes you able to be a spiritual teacher of a higher level of spiritual understanding, of being able to teach others about inner school mystery teachings, about putting that out there in the 3D world. It's not just about knowing it and doing nothing with it. We talked about in another pile about having bigger chakras means having more responsibility. The more responsibility is coming now. So what this could mean for you with these eclipses is what starts popping off for you now is not just things on your wish list. So all these things are things I was thinking about this morning on my walk with the dog, on my shaman's walk that I call it. I was saying, if I don't want to just go somewhere just for the sake of like going there to have a 3D experience. So let's just use it. Let's use New York or Hawaii as an example, because those are like two of my power places, that and Glastonbury. But I don't want to just go there to go have a 3D experience. I want the magic of the journey. I want spirit to call me there like, oh, it's time for you to go to New York because you need to do some grid work on the Freedom Gates there. And so you're not just going to go to the Ralph Lauren store, like I said in another pile. You're not just going to go to ride the Roosevelt Island tram. You are, but at the same time, the inner mystery school teaching of that whole trip and that whole travel journey is around the fact that you are going as a higher consciousness being, and as such, your auric field is being used for higher level purposes. But now you've learned enough that you've learned to love Snuffleupagus. This is Sesame Street characters coming in. You've learned to Snuffleupagus and they're like not taking it so seriously. Right? It's gonna have like inner child fun. Like you're gonna go on this fun adventure, but I want to be called there. So that's what I was telling my guides. I'm like, I don't want to just go to New York City just to go to New York City and to go to the Ralph Lauren store. It's like, well, you won't be, because you'll be going in there and you'll be raising the vibration with your aura, because you have big chakras, and you'll be like doing earth angel work, and maybe you'll be opening some new portals or gates there while you're on your trip. Maybe you'll be going to the Statue of Liberty, but you're not just going to the Statue of Liberty to like take I've been in there. Oh yeah, I forgot I went there. I went to New York as a little girl. My grandmother took us on a trip there, and I totally forgot. I went up in the Statue of Liberty. Man, I don't know what happened to all those pictures. That was from a really long time ago. I remember we had pictures of it. I remember did I go up in there? Oh my God. I don't remember if I really went up in there. I think we did go up there, because I remember being scared of heights and looking down like, this is so scary. I don't want to look out of the crown. But there's so many metaphors in this pile number 3. But you may be called to go up to this Statue of Liberty and go to the crown, or the crown chakra, and do some grid work or some gate work there. So I think that resources are going to start opening up for you, and opportunities are going to start coming in to where it's not just your wish list that's manifesting. It's like manifesting, but it's manifesting for a higher power and a higher purpose. Right? Yeah. So it's like, to me, the going to New York in this example would be like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm going to create a sacred container, which is called my trip to New York. It's like, okay, guides, first of all, like, what do I want to do when I'm there? What do you want me to do when I'm there? Because they're going to give you assignments, right? It's like, you're not just going to the Ralph Lauren store. Maybe there's somebody you have to meet there, and you have to transfer some light codes to that person. You have an experience with someone on the street, that you didn't, or you're just going to raise the vibration with your auric field. I think it was Diana Cooper who did a little reel or something, was saying that she was traveling somewhere. Was it in France? Around where I don't know everything about what was going on with all of that, but was it this semiconductor or some, creepy, nuclear thing in France, and she said her train or whatever got stuck, and she had to circle that area like 3 or 4 times before she could get back on her journey again, and that her guides told her, well, you know why you were delayed and why you kept circling and circling and circling this area. It's because your auric field, your light was needed to help raise the vibration of that place. And I'm like, oh, so many chills. So that to me is the fun and the magic now of all the learning you did over the past 7 years. Think about 7 years ago. I think back with that last total solar eclipse in 2017 that, started that 7-year cycle. And it's like, oh, it's just a little newbie on my spiritual. I had been on it, for, what was we said, 2017? Oh, I'd been on it for like 4 years then. But I was still like, oblivious to the what was to come over the 7 years, because if my guides had told me, I would have run away screaming and crying and said, forget this journey, I'm out of here. But it was too late then, because I was already on it. And so I don't even know where I was going with this. Oh, what have you learned over the past 7 years that have gotten you to where you're at now? Being grateful for all the learning and all the integrity upgrades along the way. I remember, I don't know what year it was, working with Merlin, and he was having me do like all these interesting little assignments throughout the European countries, etherically, not physically going there. And I remember completing them, and I just kind of, I trusted my guides and I trusted the guidance I was given, and I did the assignments I was asked to do along with the angels that went with me to do them. And afterwards, he's like, okay, well, you did what you were asked to do. You did it with integrity and with purpose and with an honest heart. And now you've got an integrity upgrade, and you don't have to do these assignments anymore. You can go on and do something else. So it's really kind of fun. All right, what have we got out here on the table? All right, we need to get you. I feel like your reading's maybe a tiny bit shorter. We're going to get you a final rose tarot. Everybody's has been about the same. What other messages for my pile number 3? I got this one right here. Deck has a really great guidebook. I've never seen the show that it's based off of, Bachelor or Bachelorette or whatever, but I got it because it has roses and it has colors that I like. Oh, God. Oh, you have the Ace of Mirrors, this big old giant steak. What's at stake here? Fresh meat. Okay, let's read the Ace of Mirrors, because Ace of Mirrors. I think mirrors is swords in this deck. Yeah, swords. So, oh, and was that other pile too the one that got I don't remember. Never mind. So this is fresh meat. New ideas, clarity, breakthrough, information. At a time when we're on the brink of a breakthrough, awaiting an inspired sense of clarity, a fresh prospect steps out of the limo and onto the stage. This brings to light a unique set of ideas, giving us the perspective that we're entering a new realm where previously untapped possibilities are now available. How juicy. That's just, well, there's been so much synchronicity throughout this whole entire reading with these cards and what we've been talking about. Obviously, we've got, that's what we're here to do, is deliver these messages. Yeah, it's all coming together now. Your integrity upgrades, you're going to be getting some new assignments. Oh, it's so juicy with this next 7 years. It's going to be like just juicy with possibilities of all these exciting things you get to go do now that you've done all this soul work. Let's get you a Brian Brown. Fairy is working with you. So probably having 5 angels come out. Got to. So on this new journey of being like a earth guardian and doing all this, now I think what's happening too is you're getting to physically go to these places. Whereas before, it's like I said, the last 7 years, I didn't have the resource to be traveling all over the world and going to do all these places. But I think now with this upcoming, the wheel turning, you're going to have the resources, the physical resources to physically go to these places in 3D. So that's kind of your reward too, as part of this integrity upgrade. The reward is you can now physically go visit these places that you've only etherically been going to in the 5D and maybe in your dream time. And you get to go to the Cartier store, or go up and touch the Statue of Liberty, and kind of that's your reward for all the soul work that you've done, is you get to physically visit these places and a whole lot more, right? You want to go to Hawaii. Like I remember my mom always went to Bermuda, as like she had a very back in the 30s and 1930s and 1940s, her father was a doctor, so she had a very upscale childhood and got to go to like Bermuda in the summertime, and Florida and Miami and all these great places. And I remember as an older person where she didn't have as many resources, and she's like, man, I always want, well, and she didn't have very good willpower around her dreams and intentions either, but and so we're clearing some of that too. I think ancestral stuff might have come up here too. You've cleared some of that ancestral stuff on behalf of your soul family and your soul lineage, people that wanted to do these things and couldn't, but not that they couldn't. I think the options were there, but they didn't have the energy behind it that we do now, the higher levels of consciousness, to manifest some of the things they wanted. Like she always wanted to go back to Bermuda, but she didn't feel deserving, and this, that, and the other. Didn't have the resources. We didn't have the resources because you weren't calling in the right life partner, because you felt like you didn't deserve that person, right? So we've done all this soul work now that we can call in the right resources. We feel like we're deserving to have the best that we can possibly have. And so we're manifesting, right? These things have always been available to you, but now you're able to manifest them because you believe you can truly have them. That's another integrity upgrade. Okay, you got two of these cards. Oh, you got ecstasis, which is kind of what I'm in now. These are like bliss codes. These are like, I feel like we've been delivering these codes throughout this reading to the bliss codes, the joy codes. You're feeling them more and more too. I saw a little thing. Oh my God, I'm going to forget his name now. Forget it. But it was the energy of March, and it was saying that there's less anger energy and stuff around you now, because you are living. I always say every morning, like I'm in the highest vibration, highest relational reality. So if you're in the highest relational reality that you can be in, then you're more in and your spiritual connection is really big, which if you measure your chakras compared to maybe somebody who feel like, that's what I do now too. When I get YouTube channels recommended to me, like, is that being like a chakra snob or something? I'm kind of like, I like this channel. Well, it's not. Okay, here, I got multiple messages coming in. It's not being a snob. So, many messages. Help me put them all in order. I remember in a teaching Master Code gave, he said that his teacher, his grandmaster was visiting him, or they were in the Philippines or something together, and the grandmaster was like, I want to have a meeting with you. And then Master Code went to his office, and the grandmaster was like, no, we're not meeting in my office. We're going to what Master Code said was like the most luxurious, fanciest, wealthiest hotel in the Philippines at the time. And all they did was go sit in the lobby and have their meeting. But the lesson behind it was that if you want to be wealthy or have more resources, then proximity is power. So I wouldn't want to hang out with somebody who didn't manage their money very well, had no resources, didn't feel like they were worthy of more, is still working with a karmic partner. At this point in the game, where we've done a lot of spiritual work on ourselves, we want to hang out with higher vibe, higher consciousness beings, not just humans. I'm talking higher consciousness beings, right? I've been talking about ascended masters and all these like high level beings, bodhisattvas and all that. And you want to hang out in places where there's wealth energy and abundance energy. So hanging out amongst the wealthy. So they went to this wealthy hotel, but Master Co's like, you have to program yourself just like you program a crystal. You have to say, oh, I'm getting so many chills. I don't want to just sit here and absorb any old wealth energy, because there could be, you know, people who are wealthy who are not spiritually connected at all. We don't want to necessarily be in proximity to those people. We want to be in proximity to the people that are spiritually connected, have big chakras, big heart chakras, are here doing their earth angel work, and they're wealthy too, right? Because then that's the energy we want to absorb. So that brings more of it to us. That's the law of attraction, right? We want to absorb that kind of energy into our auric field. The proximity is power. So when some of these channels get recommended to me, I'm like, I really like the person, their channel's whatever, cute, or feels like it's high vibe, looks really good to me. But then I measure the person's chakras. And this is something Master Co said too, that his grandmaster, when he would go to the library and he would get a book, he would be like, this book looks really good. I've read the first couple of chapters. It seems really all right. But then he would measure the chakras of the person that wrote the book. And if they didn't have a big crown chakra, they didn't seem spiritually connected to him, the heart chakra was small or whatever, then he would put the book away, because he's like, well, that's not the energy I want to be around, because my chakras are bigger. I should be aligning to somebody with as big or bigger chakras than me. So things will not resonate with you as much anymore. And some of the channels I used to watch, I'm like, I kind of like this channel, but I don't know, there's something. And then I'll measure the chakras of the person. And I'm like, well, the information they're sharing is fine, but their crown chakra is really small. It's like 2 times smaller than mine. And so I don't want to hang around them, because I don't want my chakras to decrease. I want to keep growing and expanding. It's like, well, I guess I really used to love that channel, but I guess I kind of have to give that up now, because there's no sense in hanging around this energy if it's not going to help me expand my consciousness. So this is the level you're at now with this ecstasis. This is like bliss codes, higher light beings, spiritual ecstasy. These are the levels of consciousness that you're able to obtain now, because you want to keep growing and expanding, that you hadn't been able to in the past. And then your last card is Sylvanus. I think it's everything we talked about. Like, look at that huge sword she's leaning on. There's a huge, I'm not going to go get the book for this. There's a huge crown chakra. This Sylvanus is, it's card number 7, and he's taking off a mask. There's many beings, many ancient beings in here in this card. If you have this book, you can go look up the meanings, but sometimes these guides come out and they don't want us to read from the book. They just want us to absorb the energy of the card, which is masks coming off. And I think the message for you there from this group of fairies is, it's okay to be proud of yourself and the work that you've done. And that is some of what we're going to be doing in Patreon this month in the Bringers of the Light tier, is working with Archangel Jophiel. And it's okay to say you're proud of yourself. It's okay to be proud of who you are. Not like overly prideful, like, oh, I'm so great. But be proud of the work that you've done. Be proud of who you are. You came here with you came here with the spiritual mission to elevate your consciousness and to do soul work on behalf of Gaia, on behalf of humanity, on behalf of the planet. And so that's the level of consciousness. That's the spiritual proximity that you need to be, taking on. You need to be proud of the work that you've done. And it's okay to want to have more. It's okay to want to be wealthy and have more resources. It's okay to be proud of who you are and the work that you've done. And take these moments of this eclipse window to reward yourself and to let yourself feel what's coming next for you, and let yourself start building those vision boards and those lists, and let yourself start receiving, because at this point you're manifesting things that you've been working on this past 7 years that have been maybe held from you because you had all this soul work to do. And at the same time, though, the doors are opening for you to take your manifestations further, like we talked about in some of the other piles, and be able to start now, instead of like, I would say like, oh, for 4 years, I've been writing the same list. For 5 years, I've been writing the same manifestation list of things I want. It was being held from you for a reason. Now those things will start to come in during this time frame, and with the next 7 years is all about you now taking your manifestations and your spiritual work and practice to the next level. So that is what we have for you, my friends. I am so happy to have you join me here for this messages, and I want to thank you all for being here. We will see you again soon. Take care.